Hi, good afternoon. My name is Rahul Chauhan, founder of India's leading corporate travel management platform, RoomsXpert.com. Today, we have a very interesting guest with us. His name is Dashmesh, and I'll not introduce him. I'll allow him to introduce himself so that he can just tell us who he is and give his details more to us. Yes, Dashmesh, all yours.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. So I'm Dashmesh. I'm the director of Asian Travel Company Private Limited, and we are a luxury car and coach rental company based out of New Delhi, and we are operational in 49 cities across India. So we are providing cars, SUVs, minivans, and buses from a two-seater convertible to a 45-seater bus. Same way from a Maruti to a Maybach. So we have got all segments of vehicles from economy vehicles to premium economy to luxury to super luxury on chauffeur driven as well as self driven basis. That's all about it.
So, Dashmesh, that was quite an interesting introduction. Just wanted to understand because we have mentioned luxury as a segment, right? So, all these vehicles are, I mean, how do you maintain those vehicles? I mean, across 49 cities.
Okay, so in most of the cases we have our own staff who are operating at. We have mechanics, denters, and painters on our company payroll. So till the time that these vehicles have warranty, we are sending it to the showrooms, and after the warranty is finished, we are maintaining these vehicles by our own staffs.
Oh, very nice, quite interesting. So, just wanted to understand, Dashmesh, with current situations which are happening. So, how is your company preparing to handle customer safety?
In the time of COVID-19.
Yes, absolutely, yes.
There are a lot of different steps that we are doing. Currently, we are already doing evacuation. We have completed for around 11,000 people so far from about 24 different countries on pan-India basis. So we have evacuated those people from different parts of the country, and we have safely made them transported to the nearest airport so that they could take a flight back for their own countries. And there are certain things that we are taking care of, especially for the COVID-19, for social distancing and for disinfected vehicles and all of those things.
So that's an interesting scenario. You have, you're taking care of around 11,000 people. Can you just share some more light into it?
Yeah. So what we are doing is that first of all the vehicles that we are sending, these vehicles are with the Ministry of External Affairs approval. So this has a letter wherein these vehicles are legally allowed to be used on the road. And then there are certain things that we are requesting our chauffeurs also and our guests also to follow while they are on a ride with us. Firstly, we are advising the cars, the chauffeurs to not use the air conditioning and rather opening the windows so that there is ventilation going on. And then we are requesting the guests to avoid any unnecessary movements in the vehicle so that it is safer for them, and to not touch any of the buttons or any such item which is commonly touched. Then there are certain other things, like we have specially trained our staff, our chauffeurs, to greet the guest by just saying namaste, and after that just and let the chauffeur open the door for the guest and close it for the guest so that there is no contact between the chauffeur and the guest.
That's a quite interesting perspective. I remember the word namaste coming in between, right? So, okay, with you talked about being contactless. With contactless becoming a new norm, how does Asian Travel House, planning to focus on that particular piece?
So there are a lot of things that how we are using this contactless into our own business. Firstly, like I said, we always request our guest that let the chauffeur open and close the door for you. In case if you're having any luggage, let him open the boot for you, and we advise the guest to keep the luggage, to load and unload the luggage themselves so that there is no contact between the chauffeur and the guest. Secondly, once the guest is inside the car, we are requesting the chauffeur to open up the window so that there is ventilation. And now we are also at a point wherein we are developing a chauffeur isolation kit, wherein the chauffeur's seat will be isolated from the rest of the car so that there is no contact between the chauffeur and the guest. And then there are other things, like for example, like whenever we are sending any vehicle for any particular duty, so we are either having a manual duty slip, which is a paper, or we are having it online, which is a e-digital duty slip. So if in case if we have a manual duty slip, we are requesting the guests to please bring in their own pens so that they could sign it with them. And in case if it is digital, they will be having an OTP and it will be signed digitally. So there will be no contact between the guest and the chauffeur. And then also we are requesting them for to have a minimum verbal conversation during the rides, so there is minimum of contact between between both the parties. And there are other things like earlier we had some standard protocols in the vehicles, like we had newspapers and we have water bottles. Now we have eliminated all of those things to mitigate the risk of any germs being transferred. And earlier, like for example, if a car was a 5-seater or a 6-seater vehicle, then we could have taken about 4 to 5 passengers in those vehicles. But now we are requesting only 25% to 35% occupancy in any given car at a point of time. And there are a lot of other things that we are doing, which are very interesting things, like we are using Arogya Setu app, so that the chauffeur as well as the guest, they both are alerted if there is any person who is infected near the vehicle also. And we are also currently, I'm proud to announce that we are also underway the process of getting driver medical certificate, which means a non-COVID certificate, which assures that the chauffeur is free of coronavirus, and the validity of the certificate is for about a month. So these are some few protocols which we're doing. Of course, sanitizers and all of those things, they come standard even before the coronavirus came in.
And that was amazing. Quite a long checklist which you have done already. So wanted to understand a bit further into it. How do you plan to maintain social distancing, especially in smaller vehicles as well as in luxury buses coming in?
Okay, so what we are doing is currently we are following all government norms and regulations. So for the smaller vehicles, let us say which is a 5-seater vehicle, 4+1, 4 passengers and 1 chauffeur. In that vehicle, we are only allowing 1 passenger to sit. That too, he will be diagonal to the chauffeur, which means he will be sitting right behind the co-passenger seat, so that there is maximum distance between the chauffeur and the guest. In case if there is a MUV or a SUV, which means a 6 to 7-seater vehicle, we are making sure that there is not more than 2 to 3 guests, which means 2 guests on the middle seat and 1 at the back seat. And we are requesting them to even maintain social distancing at the time of getting into the car and getting out. And for the minivans and buses, let us say if we have a minivan of about 15 seats, we are making sure that not more than 7 to 8 guests are sitting in that seats. That too also in a zigzag pattern, so that all the guests are at maximum far away from each other. And if it's a bus, let's say for example, if it's a 45-seater bus, we're making sure that not more than 22 passengers are sitting in that vehicle. That too again in the zigzag format. And the chauffeur is making sure that whenever any guest enters the vehicle, he sanitizes his hands and all the other things which are in the car. We are using BioProtect 500 to sanitize all our vehicles. So any vehicle that goes on a duty before going and after coming back, we are sanitizing the entire vehicle's interior as well as exterior, especially the parts which are touched the most, like buttons, armrest, steering wheel, gearbox, and door handles, and other such things.
So it's so amazing to understand these kind of things which you're trying to, you're trying to have at your side.
Yeah.
What are your plans to keep your vehicles sanitized and safe for customers besides all these things which you have mentioned?
For sanitizing the vehicle, as I've said, we're using Bio 500, and it is a disinfectant which is used to disinfect all the cars. It is a corona-free disinfectant as per now. I mean, it is the best closest to corona-free. So we are using that. And then there are other things like to sanitize the vehicles, like the chauffeur who's driving the vehicles, he's wearing a mask. He's wearing a set of gloves. Then we are having extra masks. Whenever any passenger sits in the car, we are offering them masks. And the BioProtect 500 is being used again before every duty and after every duty, so that we make sure that everything is sanitized and it's as good as fresh and brand new for every passenger to use.
And these are the standards which you are maintaining across 49 cities across India, is it?
Yes, we are making sure about this.
And how do you make sure, especially with smaller cities coming in?
With smaller cities, currently we are having very few demand. Majorly, there are demands for intercity travel. So we are sending the vehicle from the closest metropolitan or big city, wherein all of these things can be taken care of. We are denying small bookings wherein we are unable to even fulfill one of our criteria. So we are rather sending vehicles from our closest hub, wherein all of these vehicles have been undergone the same process. And
That's
currently, as I was telling you,
yeah.
we are at the verge of planning and self-isolation for the chauffeur. So that will be a great help in this industry, so that the chauffeur seat will be completely isolated from the guest.
Okay, that sounds quite interesting because I was having a word with someone in an Indian international airline. So
Yeah.
when I was having a word that this gentleman told me that even the air hostess in the flights would have a special PPE suit coming in, maybe. So that's what even airlines are planning with, right? And these are the kind of similar things which you have also mentioned at your end. Perfect. That sounds quite interesting. Dashmesh, just wanted to understand one more thing. With
Yeah.
all these things coming in and these kind of SOPs and sanitization which you are currently following, do you think there would be an industry standard which would be there? And who should be the one who should actually look forward for those standards? Because as far as I understand, this industry is quite fragmented, right? The standards which you can maintain is not necessary everyone can maintain, right?
Yes.
So is there
I
any
would
standard? Yeah, please.
like to elaborate here. First of all, these standards, before the government has any compulsory restrictions on us, I believe that these things are to be taken care of ourselves first. It is our responsibility to take care of such things. And I believe that Ministry of Health and Tourism, of course, both of them, they would be planning something very soon wherein all of these things or most of these things, plus I believe there would be even some greater things than these, which would be a standard and would be taken care of by all of the vehicle owners, the fleet owners, and even individual and private cars. But currently, what we are doing, we are trying to thrive, and we are trying to become better at these things day by day by implementing new and new things, and innovating ourselves before anybody else does. I think these things will become standard very, very soon. Within next 15 days to about a month, these would come as a compulsory things by the Ministry of Health or Ministry of Tourism.
With so much of standards getting improved and everything getting increased, so how much percentage the cost would increase to the end user?
Okay, so as you would be aware, as of dated 5th of May, which is today, at 11 o'clock today morning, there was a notification that the diesel cost has gone up to 7.5 rupees and the petrol cost has gone about 2 rupees higher. So having this impact into our industry, plus as we are also having certain expenses as Bioprotect 500, and we are using other sanitary things as standard, of course the pricing will go up a little, but we are making sure that rather to increase the pricing at this time, let us help and support the citizens of India first. Let us make sure that their evacuation has been done. Let us make sure that if somebody is stranded in any other part of the city, let us make them reach their home safely. So currently we are not increasing any of our costs, but of course with time we might be implementing a little bit change in our cost structure, but it will be negligible. We will absorb the cost rather than putting it to our end customers, so that we can provide value.
Fantastic, Dashmesh. That was quite an insightful. Okay. Just the last one. Is there anything specific you want to tell our listeners and our future guests from
I
your own
would
side?
Yeah, of course. I would just like to advise all the guests to, just practice social distancing, because this is the only tool that we are having so far. We are very far away from developing any medicine so far. So please stay at home, stay safe, sanitize yourself, wear masks, do not go out in public places, and please make sure that you have contactless payments, contactless touches, contactless touch points with all of the people that you're meeting. Just try to be safe for yourself and your family, and I'm sure we'll be able to get through this very, very, very soon.
Great, Dashmesh. Okay, just one last question, which I just thought of. So with
Yeah.
what we have seen, and especially in the larger metro cities, once a complete duty is done, at times what we have seen that the driver would take few guests on the way for some extra money.
Yeah.
So how are you trying to educate, especially the drivers? Because it has what has become a sort of industry norm with most of the drivers are doing these kind of things. So how do you maintain that kind of things coming in?
Okay. So first of all, I would just like to give you a small example by telling you that all of our chauffeurs are DCP protocol tourist verified. They have all gone in Austrian driving training from Herbert Ebner. And even after that, we are in-house conducting a training for chauffeurs after every 120 days, wherein they have been wherein they have been taught basic things about driving, basic way how to treat the guest, how to handle emergency situations. All of these issues, like what you said, they have been covered in that. We are making sure that all of our vehicles are GPS enabled. Whenever any duty, whenever any duty is performed, we are either taking an e-digital signature from the guest, or the guest is signing the duty slip along, which mentions the time, at the exact time at what time the duty had ended, the kilometers at what the duty had ended. So all of these things have been monitored. After all the duties have been completed, the chauffeur is informing our hub, our office, the operational staff, that they have completed the duty, and we are monitoring how much time it takes from the place from the place where the duty has ended to reach back to our garage. So we have already taught our chauffeurs about the dangers of letting any random person inside your car in for just a small amount. So our chauffeurs are already, they've been working with us for over 10 to 15 years minimum, and they are already aware about all of these things. As the cases of such incidents have gone up, they are self-aware that they don't need to do such things, because they have been tipped well, they have been paid well. So I'm quite sure they don't require to do all of those things.
That was amazing, Dashmesh. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rahul.
Take care.